Somewhere inside all of us is the power to change the world. Roald Dahl, 13th of September 1916 to the 23rd of November 1919, was a British author of popular children's literature and short stories. A poet, screenwriter and a wartime fighter ace. His books have sold more than 300 million copies worldwide. Count them. He has been called one of the greatest storytellers for children of the 20th century. And above all, watch with glittering eyes the whole world around you, because the greatest secrets are always hidden in the most unlikely places. Those who don't believe in magic will never find it. Dahl was born in Wales to affluent Norwegian immigrant parents and lived for most of his life in England. He served in the Royal Air Force during the Second World War. He became a fighter pilot and subsequently an intelligence officer, rising to the rank of acting wing commander. He rose to prominence as a writer in the 1940s with works for children and for adults, and he became one of the world's best-selling authors. His awards for contribution to literature include the 1983 World Fantasy Award for Life Achievement and the British Book Awards Children's Author of the Year in 1990. In 2008, The Times placed Dahl 16th on its list of the 50 greatest British writers since 1945. In 2021, Forbes ranked him the top earning dead celebrity. I think probably kindness is my number one attribute in a human being. I'll put it before any of the things like courage or bravery or generosity or anything else. Dahl's short stories are known for their unexpected endings, and his children's books for their unsentimental, macabre, often darkly comic mood, featuring villainous adult enemies of the child characters. His children's books champion the kind-hearted and feature an underlying warm sentiment. His works for children include James and the Giant Peach, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, The Witches, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The BFG, The Twits, George's Marvelous Medicine, and Danny, the Champion of the World. His works for older audiences include the short story collections Tales of the Unexpected and the wonderful story of Henry Sugar and 6 more. Listen, if you are going to get anywhere in life, you have to read a lot of books. From 1929, when he was 13, Dahl attended Repton School in Derbyshire. Dahl disliked the hazing and described an environment of ritual cruelty and status domination, with younger boys having to act as personal servants for older boys, frequently subject to terrible beatings. His biographer, Donald Sturrock, described these violent experiences in Dahl's early life. Dahl expresses some of these darker experiences in his writings, which is also marked by his hatred of cruelty and corporal punishment. According to Dahl's autobiography, Boy, Tales of Childhood, a friend named Michael was viciously caned by headmaster Geoffrey Fisher. Writing in that same book, Dahl reflected, all through my school life I was appalled by the fact that masters and senior boys were allowed literally to wound other boys, and sometimes quite severely. I couldn't get over it. I have never gotten over it. Fisher was later appointed Archbishop of Canterbury, and he crowned Queen Elizabeth II in 1953. However, according to Dahl's biographer, Jeremy Treglown, the caning took place in May 1933, a year after Fisher had left Repton. The headmaster was in fact J.T. Christie, Fisher's successor as headmaster. Dahl said the incident caused him to have doubts about religion and even about God. He viewed the brutality of the caning as being the result of the headmaster's enmity towards children, an attitude Dahl would later attribute to the Grand High Witch in his dark fantasy, The Witches, with the novel's main antagonist exclaiming that children are revolting. Dahl was never seen as a particularly talented writer in his school years, with one of his English teachers writing in his school report, "I have never met anyone who so persistently writes words meaning the exact opposite of what is intended." He was exceptionally tall, reaching 6'6" in adult life. Dahl played sports including cricket, football and golf, and was made captain of the squash team. As well as having a passion for literature, he developed an interest in photography and often carried a camera with him. During his years at Repton, the Cadbury Chocolate Company occasionally sent boxes of new chocolates to the school to be tested by the pupils. Dahl dreamed of inventing a new chocolate bar that would win the praise of Mr. Cadbury himself. This inspired him in writing his third children's book, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and to refer to chocolate in other children's books. We make realities out of our dreams and dreams out of our realities. We are the dreamers of the dream. After finishing his schooling in August 1934, Dahl crossed the Atlantic on the RMS Nova Scotia and hiked through Newfoundland with the British Public Schools Exploring Society. In July 1934, Dahl joined the Shell Petroleum Company. Following 4 years of training in the United Kingdom, he was assigned first to Mombasa, Kenya, then to Dar es Salaam in the British colony of Tanganyika, now part of Tanzania. In November 1939, Dahl joined the Royal Air Force as an aircraftman with service number 774022. He was assigned to Number 80 Squadron RAF, flying obsolete Gloucester Gladiators, the last biplane fighter aircraft used by the RAF. Dahl was surprised to find that he would not receive any specialised training in aerial combat or in flying gladiators. On the 19th of September 1940, Dahl and another pilot were ordered to fly their gladiators by stages from Abu Suair near Ismailia in Egypt to 80 Squadron's forward airstrip 30 miles south of Mersa Matruh. On the final leg, they could not find the airstrip, and running low on fuel and with night approaching, Dahl was forced to attempt a landing in the desert. The undercarriage hit a boulder and the aircraft crashed. Dahl's skull was fractured and his nose was smashed. He was temporarily blinded. He managed to drag himself away from the wreckage and lost consciousness. His colleague Douglas MacDonald had landed safely and was able to comfort Dahl until they were rescued. He wrote about the crash in his first published work. Dahl came to believe that the head injury he sustained in the crash resulted in his creativity. A life is made up of a great number of small incidents and a small number of great ones. There is no place I know that compares to pure imagination. In February 1941, Dahl was discharged from the hospital and deemed fully fit for flying duties. By this time, 80 Squadron had been transferred to the Greek campaign and based at Eleusis near Athens. The squadron was now equipped with Hawker Hurricanes. Dahl flew in his first aerial combat on 15th of April 1941 while flying alone over the city of Chalkis. He attacked 6 Junkers Ju-88s that were bombing ships and shot one down. The next day, he shot down another Ju-88. When he began to get severe headaches that caused him to black out, he was invalided home to Britain, where he stayed with his mother in Buckinghamshire. After being invalided home, Dahl was posted to an RAF training camp in Uxbridge. He attempted to recover his health enough to become an instructor. In late March 1942, while in London, he met the Under-Secretary of State for Air, Major Harold Balfour, at his club. Impressed by Dahl's war record and conversational abilities, Balfour appointed the young man as assistant air attaché at the British Embassy in Washington, D.C. As part of his duties as assistant air attaché, Dahl was to help neutralize the isolationist views still held by many Americans by giving pro-British speeches and discussing his war service. The United States had entered the war only the previous December, following the attack on Pearl Harbor. At this time, Dahl met the noted British novelist C.S. Forester, who was also working to aid the British war effort. Forester worked for the British Ministry of Information and was writing propaganda for the Allied cause, mainly for American consumption. The Saturday Evening Post had asked Forester to write a story based on Dahl's flying experiences. Forester asked Dahl to write down some RAF anecdotes so that he could shape them into a story. After Forester read what Dahl had given him, he decided to publish the story exactly as Dahl had written it. Later, Dahl worked with such other well-known British officers as Ian Fleming, who later published the James Bond series, and David Ogilvy, promoting Britain's interests and message in the US and combating the America First movement. This work introduced Dahl to espionage and the activities of the Canadian spymaster William Stevenson, known by the codename Intrepid. During the war, Dahl supplied intelligence from Washington to Prime Minister Winston Churchill. As Dahl later said, "My job was to try to help Winston to get on with FDR and tell Winston what was in the old boy's mind." Dahl also supplied intelligence to Stevenson and his organisation known as British Security Coordination, which was part of MI6. Upon the war's conclusion, owing to the severity of his injuries from the 1940 accident, he was pronounced unfit for further service and was invalided out of the RAF in August 1946. He left the service with the substantive rank of squadron leader. His record of 5 aerial victories, qualifying him as a flying ace, has been confirmed by post-war research and cross-referenced in Axis records. It is possible that he shot down more aircraft, for example, on the 20th of April 1941, when the Germans lost several aircraft. I began to realize how important it was to be an enthusiast in life. He taught me that if you are interested in something, no matter what it is, go at it at full speed ahead. Embrace it with both arms, hug it, love it, and above all, become passionate about it. Lukewarm is no good. Hot is no good either. White hot and passionate is the only thing to be. After the war, Dahl married American actress Patricia Neal on the 2nd of July 1953 at Trinity Church in New York City. Their marriage lasted for 30 years and they had 5 children. In November 1962, Dahl's daughter Olivia died of measles encephalitis, aged 7. Her death left Dahl limp with despair and feeling guilty about not having been able to do anything for her. Dahl subsequently became a proponent of immunization, writing, "Measles, a dangerous illness," in 1988 in response to measles cases in the UK, and dedicated his 1982 book, The BFG, to his daughter. After Olivia's death and a meeting with a church official, Dahl came to view Christianity as a sham. In mourning, he had sought spiritual guidance from Geoffrey Fisher, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, and was dismayed being told that, although Olivia was in paradise, her beloved dog Rowley would never join her there. Dahl's first published work, inspired by a meeting with C.S. Forester, was A Piece of Cake on the 1st of August 1942. The story about his wartime adventures was bought by the Saturday Evening Post for US $1,000, equivalent to $20,000 in 2025, and published under the title Shot Down Over Libya. His first children's book was The Gremlins, published in 1943, about mischievous little creatures that were part of Royal Air Force folklore. Dahl went on to write some of the best-loved children's stories of the 20th century, such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, The Witches, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The BFG, The Twits, and George's Marvellous Medicine. Dahl also had a successful parallel career as the writer of macabre adult short stories, which often blended humour and innocence with surprising plot twists. The Mystery Writers of America presented Dahl with 3 Edgar Awards for his work, and many were originally written for American magazines such as Collier's. The collector's item was Collier's Star Story of the Week for 4th of September 1948. Ladies' Home Journal, Harper's, Playboy, and The New Yorker. Works such as Kiss Kiss subsequently collected Dahl's stories into anthologies and gained significant popularity. Dahl wrote more than 60 short stories. They have appeared in numerous collections, some only being published in book form after his death. His 3 Edgar Awards were given for, in 1954, the collection of Someone Like You, in 1954, the story The Landlady, and in 1980, the episode of Tales of the Unexpected, based on Skin. A little magic can take you a long way. And don't worry about the bits you can't understand. Sit back and allow the words to wash around you like music. In the 1986 New Year's Honours List, Dahl was offered an appointment to the Officer of the Order of the British Empire, the OBE, but turned it down. He reportedly wanted a knighthood so that his wife would be Lady Dahl. His short story collection, Tales of the Unexpected, was adapted to a successful TV series of the same name, beginning with Man from the South. According to children's literature critic Deborah Cogan Thacker, Dahl's tendency in his children's books is to put child characters in powerful positions, and so the idea of talking down to children was always an anathema to him. Therefore, Dahl, in the introduction of the booklet, states, "I must now regretfully become one of those unpopular giants who tells you what to do and what not to do. This is something I have never done in any of my books." Dahl's children's works are usually told from the point of view of a child. They typically involve adult villains who hate and mistreat children and feature at least one good adult to counteract the villain. These stock characters are possibly a reference to the abuse that Dahl stated that he experienced in the boarding schools he attended. In a biography of Dahl, Matthew Dennison wrote that his writing frequently included protests against unfairness. Dahl's books see the triumph of the child. Children's book critic Amanda Craig said he was unequivocal that it is the good, young and kind who triumph over the old, greedy and the wicked. I was glad my father was an eye smiler. It meant he never gave me a fake smile, because it's impossible to make your eyes twinkle if you aren't feeling twinkly yourself. A mouth smile is different. You can fake a mouth smile anytime you want, simply by moving your lips. I've also learned that a real mouth smile always has an eye smile to go with it. So watch out, I say, when someone smiles at you with his mouth but the eyes stay the same, it's sure to be bogus. Receiving the 1983 World Fantasy Award for Life Achievement, Dahl encouraged his children and his readers to let their imagination run free. When asked what was the secret of his success, Dahl responded by saying that the thing you've got to remember is that humour is delayed fear, laughter is delayed fear. A UK television special titled Roald Dahl's Revolting Rulebook, which was hosted by Richard E. Grant and aired on ITV on the 22nd of September 2007, commemorated Dahl's 90th birthday and also celebrated his impact as a children's author in popular culture. It also featured 8 main rules he applied on all his children's books. 1. Just add chocolate. 2. Adults can be scary. 3. Bad things happen. 4. Revenge is sweet. 5. Keep a wicked sense of humour. 6. Pick perfect pictures. 7. Films are fun, but books are better. 8. Food is fun. Ahem. For a brief period in the 1960s, Dahl wrote screenplays to the James Bond film You Only Live Twice, and so it seems, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, We Love You, Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, were adaptations of novels by Ian Fleming. Dahl also began adapting his own novel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was completed and rewritten by David Seltzer after Dahl failed to meet deadlines, and produced as the film Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971. A person who has good thoughts cannot ever be ugly. You can have a wonky nose and a crooked mouth and a double chin and stick-out teeth. But if you have good thoughts, they will shine out of your face like sunbeams, and you will always look lovely. Roald Dahl died on the 23rd of November 1990 at the age of 74 of a rare cancer of the blood in Oxford, and was buried in the cemetery at the Church of St. Peter and St. Paul, Great Missenden, Buckinghamshire, England. His obituary in the Times was titled Death Silences Pied Piper of the Macabre. According to his granddaughter, the family gave him a sort of Viking funeral. He was buried with his snooker cues, some burgundy, chocolates, HB pencils, and a power saw. Today, children continue to leave toys and flowers by his grave. Listen, it doesn't matter who you are or what you look like, so long as somebody loves you.